Hi guys, get ready with me for a wedding. I'm officially at the age where my friends are actually getting married and I'm not okay with that. So if you guys saw that viral video on my TikTok from like almost a year ago where me and my friend were like literally screaming at church during our worship night, she's getting married. Her and her today about to be husband have been such great friends to me, support to me as I've been in school, as we've been serving and going to the same church. So not gonna lie, I grew up with this idea that you had to like be so figured out with your whole life for marriage. Like you had to be 100% financially stable, you had to have everything figured out for your life. And while there's wisdom in that, honestly, as I've just grown to be around American Christians in my college experience, not to say that I didn't growing up, but I had more of just like the Ethiopian experience, I'm like, oh, so you actually don't have to have everything figured out, which I think is so cool. There's a Christian stereotype that like when you're Christian, you get married young. And I never understood that, to be honest, and I thought it was kind of weird until I saw it in front of my own eyes with my own friends and the relationships that they were in. And I was like, oh, this actually makes sense. So I'm so excited to celebrate my friends today. As you can see, I literally barely put makeup on my face. One, because I do not have the expertise to actually do it. And two, God has blessed me with good skin. Update on my life. I'm currently in midterm season. So it's a little bit more hectic, but it's good. There's been something that the Lord has been like teaching me and like I've been sitting on for almost a month now, and it's the idea and the concept of consecration, and it means to be set apart. And while I feel like there are so many depths to which God is still teaching me what this means, I just have felt the Lord kind of calling me not only to deeper intimacy with my time with him, but like living out a set apart life as a believer. And it's less of a you can't do this, you can do this, but more of what is going to bring me closer to the Lord. And like that verse says, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Another thing the Lord has been teaching me, I've been reading the story of King Saul and kind of his downfall. And his downfall was his selective obedience to the Lord. God had told him to wipe out the Amalekites. To us, we may be like, why is God telling people to wipe out entire nations? But rather it was so that the people of Israel would not fall into idolatry. And so essentially, Saul was like, oh, okay, I'll obey you, God, but I'll spare King Agag and some of these few cattle that we think are good in our own sight. And although Saul was disobedient to the voice of God, it had consequences, and God rejected him, and he was no longer king. And that's when the story of David comes in, but kind of an excuse that Saul made for sparing some of the lives of the Amalekites and King Agag and those things was so that they can give those animals as an offering to God. But what he didn't realize was that him wiping out the entire nation was the offering to God. That itself was consecration. That itself, the destroying of those people, was an offering to God, because Israel would then be set apart as a nation, not only having victory over that nation, but then also not having to be exposed to that pagan nation's traditions and idolatry, etc. What was interesting to me was that Saul at the end of the day realized that his disobedience came from his fear of people. He was worried about what the people were saying, and he was listening to what the people told him to do rather than what God had told him to do. I kind of just asked the Lord to search my heart. Okay, I can't talk when I do this, but like I was asking God to search my heart as to the areas in my life that I choose to be selectively obedient to him, and the areas in which he wants me to give up to be consecrated, to be made holy. One thing I'm learning is that this is a whole life process. I feel like I never filmed these because I never put makeup on my face. Not never, but yeah, I'm so excited to celebrate my friends. Yay! You know what I completely forgot to do? Where'd it go? OMG, where did it go? Spray my face. Okay, done. Bye guys.